Guten Tag, my dear German friends. Today I'm gonna react to how the government of Germany works. Let's see how the German government is different from Latvian government, and maybe there's some similarities. All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notification. Let's go.
This is Germany. It's a country in Central Western Europe that's about the size of the US state of Montana or
Deutschland.
slightly smaller
Apologies.
than Japan. If you're still having any trouble finding it, it's right next to the town of Słubice, Poland. Germany's federal government meets in the capital and largest city of Berlin. So aside from tourists taking selfies at Checkpoint Charlie and a bunch of people ordering doner kebabs constantly, what exactly goes on here in Berlin?
What?
So yeah, this is Germany, also known as the Federal Republic of Germany, or Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Germany's government is best described as a federal parliamentary representative democratic republic. For those
In Latvia, we have the same. We have parliamentary republic, and I guess it's most of the countries in Europe is like that. And also, we have like the main like governing body is the same, which is the parliament. Basically, there's like 100 people in it, and those people are from different parties.
of you who aren't fluent in political scientistese, those terms just mean that Germany's government is a federation of different states under a non-monarchical government, which has different people as the head of state and head of government, I'll explain the difference with that later, and that there's a layer of politicians between the voters and the legislation. Germany is also divided into 16 states, whose German names, in alphabetical order of their English names, are Baden-Württemberg, Bayern, Berlin, Brandenburg, Bremen, Hamburg, Hessen, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Niedersachsen, Nordrhein-Westfalen, Saarland, Sachsen, Sachsen-Anhalt, Schleswig-Holstein, and Thüringen.
So we have like four states like Zemgale, Vidzeme, Latgale, and Kurzeme, right? And mostly we have like 43 municipalities, and every municipality has their own councils.
Some of these states might have familiar names from European history, be it from various treaties or dogs, as many of them are direct descendants of the
For
kingdoms
example,
that
what?
once ruled these lands. Although nowadays the main purpose of the states is to manage local affairs that the federal government can't, and probably shouldn't, be bothered with. These include things like schools, law enforcement, healthcare, und so weiter. States are often further divided into Regierungsbezirke, or governmental districts,
Yeah.
and Kreise, or districts of various types.
We have like basically we have the same. Like you have districts, we have municipalities. So I guess this is the same.
All responsible for various tasks even more local than what the state can provide for. Now, this is a video about how the German national government works, so if you're more interested in how local government works in Germany, I would highly recommend this video from Rubas. Okay, back to the federal government. Just how does that work? Well, first, there are two major legislative bodies, the Bundestag and the Bundesrat. The Bundestag meets in the famous Reichstag building and is the German parliament, while the Bundesrat meets in the Prussian House of Lords, or the place is just Herrenhaus, and represents the state governments. If you already know a bit about the US government, think of the Bundestag like the House of Representatives, and the Bundesrat as kind of a bit more like the Senate.
So the prime minister in your country is the main guy over there. He basically controls everything, as I understand. Because in Latvia, the president is choosing a premier minister, but in the same time, the parliament is choosing the president. Okay, so the president doesn't really do nothing over here. He basically goes to another countries and represent Latvia and like puts into place the new prime minister. And the prime minister is like whatever, I don't really know his duties.
The German government also essentially has two leaders. The president is the head of state, which means he, currently Frank-Walter Steinmeier, presides over representational matters and doesn't really have as much powers despite technically being the most important person in the German government. They really just preside over legislation and make sure nothing goes wrong. The second most is the president of the Bundestag, or Bundestagspräsident, currently Wolfgang Schäuble, who is basically in charge of managing the Bundestag and making sure everything's in order. And
we call it like minister cabinets in Latvia. So we have a minister cabinets, and basically they are like setting up, like there's the premier minister and there's minister cabinets around the premier minister, and they are setting up the laws and other stuff, you know. So yeah, I mean, basically probably this is the same for you over here. This dude is like the minister cabinet some kind of guy.
is basically Germany's equivalent of the speaker. The
Speaker.
chancellor, however, or Bundeskanzlerin, currently the world-famous Angela Merkel, is the head of government, which means she appoints the federal cabinet and basically runs the country, in a sense. Technically, the chancellor is officially only ranked third in the German government, but if you don't know much about German politics, there's a reason you probably still heard of Angela Merkel.
We have the same, the like prime minister, you can call it as a chancellor, and he's like third in the pyramid.
Okay, now for the elections, which are a little bit more complicated. Not really to vote in, but more if you're the person organizing the new government. Every 5 years, a federal election is run, and it is during this time that voters vote for new representatives in the Bundestag. Obviously, they also kind of technically vote for the Bundesrat, but we're just going to focus on the Bundestag for now because it's easier and more important. The ballot they are sent essentially comes in two parts. One for the person the voter wants representing their constituency, and another for which party the voter wants in power. You don't have to vote correspondingly either. If you're a fan of the SPD but like the FDP candidate more, you can vote both ways. This means that you're essentially electing two halves of the 598 seats, 299 of which go to local candidates, with the other 299 going to party representatives so that a political party can get a more proportional amount of seats for their vote.
So I have a question, right? If there is the situation where, let's say, for example, this yellow and green party have been chosen by the voters at the same amount. So basically, let's say 10 people from here and 10 people from here, but there's only 5 places. Who they gonna put? You know, like it's confusing. It's confusing straight away. Yeah.
This does mean that
wait, I'm just gonna
can get a more proportional amount of seats for their votes. Although this does mean that the Bundestag may or may not go over the seat number of 598, and so additional overhang seats are often also given to balance this out.
709,
overhang seats and
wow.
the cousins leveling seats, however, are no so complicated situation that's probably best left for another time. Just know that there are additional seats given depending on how the vote goes for a particular party. Now, you might have noticed that there are more than 2 main political parties in Germany. In fact, there are currently 6 parties with seats in the Bundestag, which, in decreasing order of said seats, are the CDU-CSU, technically 2 parties in a kind of union, but still, the SPD, AfD, FDP, the Left, and the Greens. These aren't
This one looks like a Nike logo, basically.
exactly fringe parties either, especially since a party needs at least 5% of the popular vote to get a seat in government.
Yeah.
This means that a singular party rarely gets a majority in government, and so they often need to pair up with another party to get legislation passed. This is something known as a coalition, and the current government coalition is made up of the CDU-CSU and the SPD, with the other 4 parties forming what is known as the opposition. So to wrap everything,
just quickly, I will tell you that we have like voting every 4 years. We can vote for a new the parliament, and I have problems many times because I don't know who to vote for because I'm not really interested in politics, and it's not overall highlighted on the internet. I don't watch TV, and on the internet it's not highlighted, and I don't know who to vote for. How do you guys choose who to vote for? Do you examine maybe the people who are you can vote for, or maybe you have some kind of additional information from TV or other places, so just let me know. I would love to hear your way of choosing your candidates.
Up, here's a diagram of how the German government interacts with itself. It's a little bit confusing at first, but so are most government diagrams to the unfamiliar observer. So let's start with the normal German voter, who is a German citizen over the age of 18 who has lived at least 3 straight months in Germany in the last 25 years up to the election. This only applies if you've been living outside of Germany. So in this diagram, yellow boxes represent the legislative branch, Blue boxes represent the executive branch, and gray boxes the judicial branch. Green arrows mean that one body elects and/or appoints another. Blue arrows that one body sends members to another.
This is super confusing.
Red arrows that one formally appoints and/or has veto power over another. And 3 arrows is a German YouTube channel that's completely unrelated. So starting with the normal voter, they elect their state legislature and the federal diet. The state legislature, in turn, appoints the state constitutional court, the minister-president, and the appointed members of the federal convention. The minister-president appoints the state cabinet, and those two send members to the federal council, which works with the federal diet to appoint the federal constitutional court and enact legislation. The federal diet, meanwhile, also sends members to the federal convention.
I already lost it in the first 10 seconds of explanation, unfortunately.
Which elects the president. The
Yes.
president has veto power over the same legislation we just breezed over, but is also tasked with formally appointing the chancellor, who the federal diet also elects. And the president has veto power over the federal cabinet that the chancellor then appoints. See, that actually wasn't too bad, was it? The German government is a big and powerful player on the world stage. Germany may be the size of Montana and have a population smaller than that of Vietnam, but Germany also has the 4th largest economy in the world, which in turn makes it arguably one of the leaders of the European Union as a whole.
And also Germans live very good life, and they have very decent pensions if you compare it to other Europe.
One of the leaders of the European Union as a whole. So it's kind of important that they get this whole thing right. Thank you as always for watching. If you weren't familiar with the German government beforehand, please let me know if this video helped at all. And if
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, but I would say it's a similar system as we have over here in Latvia. And yeah, if you, for example, ask a normal Latvian what he thinks about the politicians, most of the time he will answer they are morons, right? Let's say like my father, he's like, oh, these politicians are morons. But when the voting comes, he goes and votes for the same morons. Where is the logic? I don't know. I just don't know, you know. And yeah, I recently started voting myself, and for me it's a new experience, and I'm thinking for me it's like a brain fog how to choose the proper people to vote, you know. I need to follow them. I'm just too lazy to do that, you know. But just to believe their banners, like I will give you 5,000 euros for a kid, you know, when average like payment for a kid is 100. Man, I'm thinking, mate, I'm not voting for you for sure. You're just trying to. You're full of shit, bro. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you want to know something about Latvian system or something about Latvia, just let me know in the comment section. I will let you know straight away. And if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comment section, please, or click the link below in the description. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.